Bruh.
Alright, so if you can tell by the title of the video, we're starting a new series on this channel, and it's something that I'm pretty excited about, and hopefully I can stick to it and we can make it work. So this car hasn't been on the channel before. I think I may have slipped in a small clip of it once, but this is my '01 Impreza 2.5 RS Coupe. It's a 5-speed, and I know you guys have seen that I've had a lot of these cars specifically, Imprezas, on the channel, and basically over the last year I've been buying and fixing and selling and driving and all kinds of stuff with these cars because I'm super passionate about them. But this is the one that I've ended up with, and this one is the forever car. So for the new year, I'm planning on doing a new series on the channel, and basically we're going to be doing something to this car every single week for the entire year. And obviously my goal is to not fall off schedule. I've tried to find a way to hold myself accountable and get back into the swing of things here and post more and give you guys some more content. So that's the plan. So in this video, episode 1, we're basically just going to be overviewing the car, talking about a few things that I've done to it, and sort of going over couple of the plans, and also we're gonna do small little, not really a modification, we're just returning something back to factory the way it's supposed to be. And yeah, so this is episode 1, and let's get right into it. Okay, so like I said before, this is my 2001 Subaru Impreza 2.5 RS. It is a coupe. I bought this car, I want to say in October of 2021, so just a few months ago. I live in upstate South Carolina. I drove all the way down to Daytona Beach, Florida. It was a 7-hour trip down, 7-hour trip back. Took a little bit longer with stops, gas, good stuff like that. All in all, I drove about 14 or 15 hours to go get this car all in one day. Wasn't the most fun thing I've ever done, but it was totally worth it. Got to experience Buc-ee's for the first time, so that was pretty cool. Anyways, not important. Yeah, so I've owned this car for a few months now, and I've done a few things to it. Not much. Basically just been trying to return the car back to as close to OEM as I can, and that's really the plan here. I want it to look OEM. Eventual plans in the future obviously is a swap, but not really thinking too much about that right now. I'm just trying to get the car back to the way it was from the factory. So we're basically just going to go over a few things here, what's wrong with the car, what my plans are, stuff like that. So this first episode is just a basic overview, and then we're going to do something small to the car, which a lot of people probably don't know that they can do. Okay, so we're going to start off with the most major issue that this car has, and if you guys know anything about these first-gen Imprezas, you will know that they are all pretty rusty. Unless you get one on the West Coast, places where there's not snow or salt on the roads or anything like that, it's going to have rust. So on my car, it's pretty bad in the rockers and the quarters, both sides. Other than that, there's not really anywhere else that's too bad. There's a small spot underneath the rear bumper that needs some attention, but it's, you know, not as bad as the quarters and the rockers. The good news is when I bought the car, it did come with these Subi Saver quarters and rockers. So we do have the pieces that we need to make that repair. I just need to find the time to do it and the time to teach myself how to weld, because I plan on doing that repair myself. Super intimidating, not gonna lie to you, but it needs to be done. So that's the major thing. There's a couple other small things. Obviously the paint's not great. The rear window has a couple broken tabs holding the trim in place. I believe I can still get those from Subaru. Hopefully, if not, it's gonna be a pain in the butt to source those. A couple other small things. It needs rear brakes. I already have the pads and rotors, so that'll probably be done in next week's episode. And overall, the goal for this series is to basically anything maintenance or mod related is gonna be part of the series. So one week we may be adding something cool to the car, and then the next week we may be doing brake pads and rotors or spark plugs, oil change, stuff like that. So it's not always going to be modifying the car. Sometimes it's going to be just maintenance or something along those lines. That's pretty much it for the things that are wrong with the car. It's mostly just appearance stuff and rust. Now, as far as the things that I've already done to the car, not too much, but mainly my goal here is to return this car to OEM, like I said before. So I've completely refinished the wheels all the way around, fixed a bunch of curb rash, fixed a bunch of deep gouges. They're not 100% perfect, but I did do a pretty good job. I would say it's like a 9.5 out of 10. They look great, they turned out great, they look OEM, which is what I wanted. As I was doing that, I put new tires on the car. They are Achilles ATR Sport 2s. Really love those tires. It doesn't snow around here and the roads don't get that cold, so they're a really good all-season tire. They're really cheap, really affordable, and I've had nothing but good experiences with them anytime I've ever put them on any car I've owned. So I've refinished the wheels, put new tires on it, replaced the driver's seat with an OEM one that is in much better shape than mine was. No rips, no nothing. Still need to do the passenger seat, just haven't gotten around to it. The original cubby, the dash cubby, it was missing the lid. I ended up finding a whole another cubby in a junkyard out of Forester, but it was brown, so it didn't match. So I didn't put it in the car. But I did end up finding a guy who wanted a cubby, and he had the compass pack, which comes out of Foresters. So we did a little swap. I gave him some money on top. So now I have a compass pack in the car. It's not wired up yet, but it is in there. Other than that, I think that's all I've done to the car. It did come with some carbon fiber trim pieces around the shifter bezel and the radio and all that. I have replaced the radio bezel with a OEM one. Not really a fan of the fake carbon fiber stuff. I still have the carbon fiber shifter bezel, just trying to source an OEM one in black. So until I do that, we will have to live with the carbon fiber one. Like I said, not a huge fan of that. So, and that's pretty much it for everything I've done to the car. And that's an overview of it, kind of telling you guys how I got it and what I've done and what's wrong with it and all that good stuff. So let's get to the part which is the main thing about this whole series. Let's modify this car a little bit. So this isn't really, I guess you can't really call it a mod. It's more of returning the car or adding a feature that the car already came with, but it lost the feature due to I guess you could say, negligent previous owner, and that is a key fob. So these cars, I'm not sure if they all came with it, but I believe all or most of them came with key fobs from the factory. Now, being that the car is 20 plus years old, multiple owners, I believe I'm the third or fourth owner. Obviously, key fobs can get lost over 20 years. So when I bought the car, it did not have it. Previous owner did tell me he did have it, but he lost it. So I was actually browsing through some forums and came across a thread of a guy who basically took a eBay, Amazon, whatever key fob and was able to pair it to the car. And that's exactly what I've done. So I've already done it. This is a key fob. I'm gonna put a picture on the screen of the Amazon listing, and I'll also put a link in the description. This costs about 28 bucks, and this is a super simple process. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys sort of a walkthrough on how to do that. But before we do, I'm gonna show you how it works. So car is unlocked. Hit the left button. Now it is locked. The right button. Now it is unlocked. And it still has the stock, I guess, chime you could call it. Not really a big fan of it, but it is interesting. So, all right, so bear with me here as I try to hold the camera and the light at the same time, but we are under the driver's side portion of the dash. And if you get under here and you look, you'll see this little button hanging down. Now if you look at it, I can't really get the light good enough for you guys, but there are two brown wires going into it. That's gonna be, I believe it's called the valet button. So what that button does is basically let you program a new key fob. If you guys have one of these cars and you don't have a key fob, this is a super simple way to do it. And basically what you need to do before you buy the key fob is test and make sure it actually works, the system. So go under the dash, find that button. If the button's not there, you probably don't have it, or it's been ripped out or whatever over the years. So go underneath the dash, find that button, and all you're gonna do is press it and hold it for about 15 to 30 seconds. Car should make the chime noise, which you heard when I was hitting lock and unlock, and the lock should engage and disengage 3 times. If that happens, then you know it works. So go ahead and order yourself that key fob. I would suggest that you order the one that's in the description because it's guaranteed to work. I can't guarantee any other ones, and I also can't guarantee that the setup will be the same. So if you do order the one that's in the description, all you gotta do, get in the car, hold that button for about 15 seconds. Once it does the lock thing and the chimes, while continuing to hold that button under the dash, you're gonna hit the left button on the key fob at the same time, which is the lock button. Once you hit that left button on your key fob, you'll hear the car lock. I think it makes a beep too, and then you're gonna let go of the button underneath the dash. And then once you do that, everything should be working perfectly fine. It's super easy to do, super simple, and once you do it, now your car has a key fob again. You can also do it with multiple fobs. So let's say you buy 2 of them. Process is the exact same. You hold the button for 15 seconds. As soon as the locks and the alarm goes off, you'll hit the left button on fob 1 and then the left button on fob 2. Then you'll let go of the button underneath the dash, and now you have 2 fobs that work. So there it is. That's episode 1 of this series. Like I said, we're going to be doing one thing to this car every single week for an entire year. That's going to be it for episode 1. We're just going over the car, going over the issues, going over a few things that I've done to the car, and getting the first little modification out of the way. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one, and hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this series. I'm super pumped about it because I've been wanting to get back into YouTube and, you know, just posting more and providing more content, and now I finally feel like I have the right car that I want to work on and I want to do things to and I want to restore. And I also bought a new camera, so that's another plus. The camera that I had before, actually I can show you, it's right here, had the Canon Rebel T4i, and I just felt like I felt like I was limited, and I felt like I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do video quality wise with that camera that I can now do with this camera. So that's another thing that's motivated me to take this step. So that's going to be it for episode 1, guys. If you guys have any suggestions, leave it down in the comment. If you want to see me do something to this car that's reasonable, let me know. But other than that, I'll see you in next week's video.